Vishal, welcome to Jam with Sam.
My pleasure.
Okay, so that will keep going up.
Yep.
We'll cut it out in Photoshop. So, Vishal, you started your first business at what age?
Well, I started my first company when I was 16. I used to program. I learned programming when I was pretty much in school. And part of what I need to do was, how can I make money from this?
Okay.
And the first thing I did was I started making games. And I still remember the day I went to Pepsi, to their office, which was quite close to my house, and showed them a game which I had made for them, where you could shoot at Coke cans.
Oh, shit.
And the Pepsi guys completely loved it. This is the time when the Pepsi and Coke war was on. And at that spot, they bought that game from me.
Okay.
And it was installed in all their employees' computers so that they could remove their frustration on Coke.
Okay.
And post that, they even took it to the consumers. They took this game in movie theaters and they ran a scheme where shoot at Coke cans and get a free Pepsi.
Oh, shit.
So it was like literally crazy when I was doing all these things. And, as I said, and my school days were also, I used to play volleyball as you saw. So at one part I was playing outdoor games, and then on the other part I was playing computer games and making computer games.
Fantastic. So this is, and after that you finished your schooling, I hope?
Well, I managed to pass school.
Okay.
And went to college. And luckily again, I didn't score very high marks in college or anything, but I was lucky to be a national volleyball player. So,
wow.
At that time, now they had all kinds of quotas, but that time there was one important quota, which was the sports quota. And I managed to get into college. Of course, it's a different story. I didn't complete college, but I must say that I had a lot of fun and a lot of learnings in college itself.
So that means education ruins us.
Well, education puts you in a box.
Puts you in a box. Better said. So, and then after that, what did you do after that, once you finished that?
So, for me, the reason I joined Commerce College was because you didn't have to study when you do commerce. And the other thing was, I knew all the principals, teachers, so attendance was also not an issue.
Problem. Okay.
In fact, it was funny, I never attended college and I got the Outstanding Student Award in college, literally. But having said that, for me, it was about all the stuff I learned. I used to organize events. I was the captain of the team. I used to take part in debates, this, that. So, what people are doing now, what we all do now is what I did at college. And all these events, organizing. And in fact, I tell them that today's kids are wasting their time studying. College is the time to actually take part in extracurricular, travel, go and meet other people. So actually, I did a lot of all of this, what we do now, when I was in college.
Okay. So you started this, you did some computer training also, no?
So yeah, so I started a computer training school. I used to train people in computer graphics, animation. I just discovered that Mr. Ori over here and I used to do the same business. The only difference is I was 16 years old at that time. I used to do computer graphics. There's nothing left in the field of computers which I didn't do. I was almost overqualified. Which is why I went to do what I enjoyed the most, which is gaming. And people thought it was a crazy idea. I'm talking of 1998, 99, when I said gaming is going to be the next big thing, and people said I must be crazy. Of course, I can tell you that there are quite a few people here right now who are playing Subway Surfers or Candy Crush and not attending this session.
So that's when you started India Games.
So India Games was started in 1998. And that again was a very interesting incident. So the Kargil war, apart from doing a lot of things in the world was a turning point for me because I created this game called I Love India, which I put online. So it was a game where you could, of course, play as Indian soldiers fighting the terrorists, but there was one difference in this game that India always won, whatever you did. And we put this game online and we had like 100,000 downloads.
Wow.
And I'm talking of 1998. So we were featured in, I think BBC talked about us, CNN, and that time it really became a rage. And that's when the idea came about that people are passionate about India and people want to relate to Indian themes, and that's when I started India Games.
So this was in 1998?
About 1998, yeah.
Okay. So when was the time when you bought that TV tuner card from me?
Oh, long time back. Yeah, it was
at that time.
Almost the same time.
Mohit Anand was in Microsoft. That is the
almost
time.
the same
so
time.
That's the only time I ran into you at that
almost
time
the same time. I have bought every crazy gadget I have got from all kinds of people. I'm sure there are people who have sold me things here also.
So I said, who's going to buy this TV tuner card? No, you give it to this guy. I said, will I get my check? He said, you'll get your money. I am assuring, I'm the managing director of Microsoft Hardware. You will get it over there. So, and that was the thing over there. Fantastic. So, what was the feeling when, UTV, there are two feelings which must have come. When UTV approached India Games, what was the feeling which went through you?
So actually, even before UTV came in, the most funny thing happened is, so I was like 21 years old and there were these people who came in like full suits and they said, we are investment bankers. And I'm like, what is investment banker?
Okay.
So I said, no, humko banking nahi chahiye. No, we are investment banker. And then they said their name Price Waterhouse Cooper. So I said, water supply company, we don't need water supply. Of course, I didn't know who these people were. So finally, they told me that they're going to get me venture capital.
Okay.
So I said, we all know that loan is a bad thing. That's what my dad told me, that never take a loan. So I said, listen, I don't want any loan shown. I don't want venture capital. So finally, they told me one thing. They said, listen, this venture capital is like a loan which you don't have to return. So I said, like, that makes sense. And they created this amazing Excel sheet, which they call the business plan. Completely done by them, completely work of fiction. They told me that we're going to take you to these investment, like venture capitalists. You have to tell them about gaming. We will take care of the rest. Don't worry, we have all these numbers. And you won't believe, in like 3 weeks, I got 3.5 crores in my bank from 2 venture capitalists who were ready to fund it. And I'm like, man, what the hell is going on? Matlab, why are these people giving me 3.5 crores? So, and I didn't know what stock meant. I didn't know what business plan was. I didn't know what anything was. And here I was landed with such a lot of money just making games. So that was actually the most crazy part.
Point in that.
Well, there's another part that we blew up all that money doing very, very stupid things. We hired a guy from Pepsi to become our president. We bought cars for everybody in the company. We had a very swanky office. So we did all the wrong things and we almost went bankrupt.
Okay.
So I think there was a lot of learnings, right? Because when you are young, you don't know about all these things. But I think the UTV story happened when we became pretty much the market leaders when it came to gaming. So I think, I don't know how many of you have played the Spider-Man game. So in 2004, we got the license to create Spider-Man.
Okay.
And that was actually the biggest hit at that time across the world. And that's what got us into the global scene of gaming.
Okay.
And that's when UTV, Cisco and Adobe came and acquired a stake in us. So it was really, we were at, of course, and Ronnie was trying to enter gaming in a big way. And that was the time we were at almost the pinnacle of market share when it comes to gaming.
Gaming over there. And then Walt Disney.
Well, Disney again was an interesting story, right? So what happened was we decided to focus on the India market. So we got so IPL game was done by us, Gajni. So every major Bollywood game was produced by India Games.
Okay.
And whether it's Ravan and basically all, I would say we almost had 70% market share in the games business.
Okay.
And when Disney wanted to enter India, clearly they wanted market share. And there was absolutely nobody better than us suited as far as quality, as far as market share, as far as penetration is concerned. We had recently announced 300 million downloads only on the Nokia platform. So as we know that gaming has completely become a rage, right? There are people who are only buying phones to play games and maybe use WhatsApp and Facebook on the side. And this was the insight we had. I'm talking about when people didn't even have mobile phones. So clearly from a vision of today I would say in India alone, there are 600 million people who play games. 600 million people. And gaming is more, actually if you look at the time spent, it is more than television and any other medium put together. But clearly that's the whole trend, and I think going forward you're going to see even bigger marketplace when it comes to gaming.
Gaming over there. Fantastic. So you were bought out, or you had to move out, or you still have a stake?
So I sold the company to Disney. So India Games was acquired in 2012, and then I was there as managing director for a year. Of course, I am not a corporate guy, so I decided to move out, and of course Disney now runs India Games and everything else.
Okay.
And so that was really what it was with Disney.
Fantastic.
It was a fun time. I could go to Disneyland for free.
You will get the free that pass.
I get free passes. I used to get free passes. Yeah.
You use social media extensively. Which you find better, Facebook or Twitter?
I mean, it's not what I found better. I think they're for two different purposes. For me, Facebook is for friends, so I would share more intimate and more, let's say, more elaborate details on Facebook. While Twitter is more a broadcast. It's more like, it's like the headline. Twitter is about the headlines. And Facebook is about the actual content on what is happening if you are really looking at more depth. So that's really how I look at both places.
Okay.
The other problem with Facebook is there are too many trolls. That's the only, sorry, Twitter there are too many trolls. Facebook is a little
you can
better.
control them over there. Yeah. I think you have some 25,000 followers. Some ridiculous number like that. Yeah. I think Sandeep has got also 24,000 followers. So I'm trying. I'm like 1 0 less than them. So I'm just trying that. Okay, you love the color red. So that's why I made this mug also red for you over here, inside red. Anything specific with red?
Well, red is the color of passion.
Okay.
And as humans, we all react to colors. Colors play a big role on what we do. In fact, I designed my entire house also red, and somebody else took the credit for it. That's a different story, but but I mean, I just get turned on with red, and that's why I have red.
Okay.
But like how the soldiers, when they wear a uniform, they are in the zone. So when I have my red shirt on, I believe I'm here to change the world.
So when is the red Ferrari coming?
Well, the Ferrari is always there, but I don't have the road. That's the problem. So the quest really is, how do we get the road?
Okay. You had a fantastic experience with Audi. Tell us something about it.
Well, the Audi experience we can have another session on that itself. But to cut a long story short, I track everything. I'm one of those guys who.
That's your car.
Sorry?
Okay, no, that's your car that was in service and the guys took around.
Yeah, people know the story, I guess. So well, what happened is I track everything, right from how much I run, how much water I drink, to everything else. I gave my car for servicing. I was out to Iceland, and then I get a text in the middle of the night that my car is roaming around Bombay, speeding on the Western Express Highway. Of course, I promptly took all GPS data, everything, put it online, and Audi said, no, it's not happened, and they sent a register with entry in, out, saying this is their proof that the car was still in there. And my proof was, of course, the GPS coordinates we put together. I mean, again, to put a long story short, Audi was kind enough, and I am now a happy Audi customer.
Okay. Vishal, something about your family and how do you spend time with them?
Well, I have two boys. So we do a lot of gaming, of course. So at our place, and so a lot of games. But apart from games, we do a lot of outdoor activities. We do a lot of adventure. So we just went actually last month we drove around Turkey. We've been to, I think last year there was Iceland. And we like to go to adventure trips where we spend time together. And I think the other thing which we do together is a lot of Legos. They are into Legos and all these kinds of things right now.
So you also play with them?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So you use the new, I think the Mindstorms for them.
So yeah, I mean it's a lot of fun, and I think right now the kids of this generation are very different.
Yes.
So for them, my son, his first requirement is Wi-Fi wherever he goes. So he doesn't want anything else. So on a flight, he's very frustrated because he says, why is there no Wi-Fi? Why is YouTube not playing here? So this is a generation, how we was thinking about electricity and water. they only think about Wi-Fi and why is the battery of this, why is this iPad have to be charged every 4 hours. So, what is going to happen in 10, 20 years, only God knows, but clearly the way technology is going and the way today's kids are adopting to technology is very different. And there's a term for them of digital natives and digital immigrants. And we can see the difference between both.
Absolutely. I think even between generations, like, somebody who's 16 now and somebody who's 21, there's a difference between both of them.
Yeah.
Because the 16 guy is quite more tech savvy, he knows all the stuff and all, he'll go and, like, I have a son who's 16, he'll just come, Papa, Myntra, there's a 42% discount if you book it on a mobile. If you go there, just say, these are the Puma shoes, I want to buy them. Like in some 3 minutes, the shoe was bought, and everything was, and then he's after me, give me the tracking number, I'm going to track where it is. I said, beta, it'll come, it's not going to go. No, I want to track where it is. So there's so much.
Well, all I can tell you right now is how many people here use laptops? Well, you're all old school. I no longer use a laptop. It's been 2 years. I only use a phone and a tablet.
I know.
I don't need a laptop. So, and that's really what it is. So I think you need to be ahead of the generation. So it's time to stop using your laptops. Well, that is the same reaction people had when they were told don't use typewriters anymore. They said, no, I like that sound, tuck, tuck, tuck when I type.
A lot of entrepreneurs like Bill Gates, Warren Buffett are donating their wealth to charity and leaving their heirs with a very small amount. What's your response to that?
Well, I think it's not, the problem is they have too much money. So I think, you are talking about the wrong people. Even if they give everything away for charity, they will still have a lot of money left. I think the real thing over here is that there's a difference between education and knowledge. I think the problem is that we are all trying to educate our kids and ye padho, wo padho. The real thing is it's all about knowledge. And knowledge is all about understanding their culture, understanding their family, understanding where they come from. And I think that's really what is more important for the kids. And if they understand that, then it's not about how much money you have or how much money you don't have. So I think it's really about that. It's not really about money. In fact, I have told our kids that, there'll be no money for you. You have to, fend for yourself.
Over there. Tell us something about GOQii.
Well,
how did it happen?
As I said, so I'm always about trying to do crazy things. So the next crazy thing in my adventure is, of course, GOQii, and we have one for you. We'll shortly give it to you. So over the past 4-5 years, or actually past 10 years, I would say, like all of you here, when we are running your companies, running our businesses, the one thing we ignore the most is our own health. And we are like, we'll worry about it later. And I too went in a stage where I became extremely unfit. I'm not saying I'm fit now completely, but I went in that stage. And to me, being a gadgeteer, my reaction was, I'm going to find the apps and gadgets and everything else, and I'll come back and track. And over the past 4 years, I took on this journey of changing myself. And since then, I have now done 7 half marathons, 4 ultra marathons. I've gone to Ladakh, 17,000 feet. But the bigger point was, I did all of that largely without really changing much of what I did. I really changed my lifestyle. And when I figured out how that was done, my instant reaction was that this is something which can go to millions of people. And this can literally change the world. So just the way, think about it, you get addicted to playing Candy Crush or Subway Surfers. Is there a way I can make you addicted to walking 10,000 steps every day? Can I use the same techniques to make you eat green vegetables? Can I use the same techniques to make you drink more water? Or can I motivate you to sleep more using exactly the same techniques of games? So the interesting part was my knowledge of gaming when I started combining it with what was happening in fitness. And the third insight which we had was the human connect. I think that was the aha moment which came about, and that's when GOQii was born. So to simplify it for people, because I know I'm really talking Greek and Latin for a lot of us. So GOQii is a revolutionary fitness concept. It's revolutionary even in the US, for example, where what we are essentially saying is that reimagine. So today, for you, a store is Flipkart. It's a virtual store. You no longer go to a real store to buy anything. So reimagine a gym. So previously we used to go to a gym, which is a physical place, we exercise and we have a gym instructor. Now reimagine the world is a gym and you could be exercising anywhere or you could be being fit anywhere. And how can you have a coach available to you 24/7, just like your friends on Facebook or Twitter or WhatsApp. So we are combining a wearable technology like a band which tracks all of this. This data goes back to the coach who is sitting at our offices. They are qualified in nutrition, fitness. They're looking at all of this. And they react to this. So just how stock market people are looking at saying buy and sell, our coaches are looking at your stat, and I was telling him that his Facebook feed needs to change. All the unhealthy food he posts, our coaches will be sitting there and saying, you know what, while we really like you eating bacon, we want you to eat more green vegetables with it. And they will motivate you in a way. So my point is that today, you do not pay a telephone bill or mobile bill once. See what happens to you. You'll be having gundas coming to your house literally. But for 2 days, you eat junk food, there is no consequence.
Unless your wife is watching you.
I mean, the problem is the wife is sick of saying things, right? So we know, we don't listen to, she's given up. So the point really was that how could we combine motivation, how could we combine wearable technology and human coaching? And that's how we have put together the entire GOQii ecosystem. And we trialed it in India. We got about 1,000 users. We are now launching it in UAE starting next month and US end of this year. And it's clearly going to be a concept which is going to be, again, it's ahead of its time in a way, like because people are, it's like when we said in gaming is going to be big. In the next 5, 10, 20 years, we will all be, there will be no mobile phone, literally, because what is happening with miniaturization, that your phone will be a ring or some kind of a band on your wrist, and we are now talking of implants. So actually, your phone might be actually a chip implanted in your body somewhere. So you won't even be using a device. And this chip in your body could 24/7 give me your LDL, HDL, blood pressure, all this data. Okay. And right now, the problem with our health system is that we wait to get sick. We go to a doctor, doctor says, oh, let's take your blood test. Oh God, all this is wrong. Over here, just like Wi-Fi, your data is available 24/7. So people will be there who will monitor this data and tell you beforehand that, listen, we believe that based on this, this is going to go wrong with you, so you better change right now. So I think that's where the future of healthcare and body tech is going. And I think our kids are definitely going to be living much longer than us. But we are actually, a lot of us are actually at that cusp where if we can make certain changes in our lifestyle, we can make a big difference to ourselves and the people around us. So that's really the big thing we are trying to do with GOQii.
More of a holistic kind of.
It's about lifestyle change. It's not about saying do this dieting or do this exercise. It's about developing healthy habits. And habits is what makes us. People get habituated to have 4 cups of tea every day with 2 spoons of sugar. And that's the problem. It's not about anything else. Sometimes these small changes can make a maximum impact.
Fantastic. Great. You have venture funding from Madhuri and WhatsApp founders. What did they see in GOQii which made them invest?
Again, as I said, right, it's a crazy idea. And a lot of times there are more people backing crazy ideas than sane ideas. And clearly in this case, Dr. Nene, by the way, is our chief medical officer.
Oh, okay.
So it's not just Madhuri. Dr. Nene is very much involved with GOQii. He works with us on our coaching and everything else. And Neeraj from WhatsApp is again our early investor. And you saw WhatsApp was able to connect friends. We are connecting people to coaches and healthcare. So there was a lot of synergy on what we are doing, literally.
Okay. So you are not shocked with the investment which came in? This is too little or this is too much over there?
I mean, it's not about the money. It's about the, in a new idea, it's about the value you can bring in. Money is a commodity. Money is available from everywhere.
Absolutely. So a lot of change from that time when you were there. And
yeah, of course. I now know what stock means and what equity means. So it is a difference for sure, yeah.
Okay. Whom do you admire and who's your role model?
So, the thing changes all the time. Of course, Steve Jobs is the global role model. There is Da Vinci. Da Vinci invented more stuff than anybody else today.
Absolutely.
But right now, I'm very impressed with Elon Musk. What Elon Musk is doing with Tesla, with Solar City, I think he's really on to changing something drastically. And he has figured out what is wrong with the transportation system. And I think that's a global problem. And similarly with what he's doing on the whole space travel, I think we all will at least go to moon. I can tell you that. Next we can all easily make a trip to moon, and he'll be one of the guys we need to watch out.
So I see a lot of similarities in your customer support and Tesla. So Tesla suddenly announced all the cars, not which you're going to sell now, but the cars you bought earlier, 8 years unlimited warranty. And I see people writing testimonials, I lost my GOQii band and he's feeling very sad about it, and suddenly there's a t-shirt and a GOQii band which comes over there, and they're writing about that experience which is there. So you really value customer support a lot over there.
So I think, we all talked about customer delight and customer happiness. I think these are mundane and very old school ideas. What we talk about is wow. If your customer is not wowed by you, then service level is not great. So I think the bar is so high when it comes to GOQii and what we are trying to do, that is the expectation we have. So when our teams tell us that we've done a good job, we say, everybody does a good job. So I think the bar is very high, and that's the expected response. So when the customer says, wow, we feel, we've done our job. So that's really what it is. And now the other point is, thanks to social media, every customer is as important as the most VIP customer, which used to have in the past. Now you cannot differentiate between levels of services like this, which was a very standard practice. So every customer is important. I personally monitor our Twitter feed and make sure that our social media team is responding the way it is. So that's how important it is, and I laugh at people who outsource their Twitter and other things completely. I'm not saying you can't outsource, but a lot of people don't even worry about it. Twitter mein log kuch to likhte rehte hain. I would say Twitter and Facebook is the pulse of your customer.
Absolutely.
And you need to be on the pulse and figure out what's going on.
And nobody can do it better than somebody who's working the company in-house.
Exactly. You can team up, but you can't just say, this is like, we've given it to some agency, it's not our problem.
Can't do that over there. Okay, so quick gun Sam over here. Money.
Byproduct.
Family.
Is everything.
GOQii.
Be the force.
The force. India.
Superpower.
Business.
Is fun.
Entrepreneurship.
Is tough, but it's a tough path, but the most fun path.
So I I had tweeted to Vishal and I asked who's working tomorrow. It was Govinda. So Vishal, will you tell me that answer to everyone which you said?
Well, you should tell the answer. I have told you the answer.
He told me the answer over there. So he says, I enjoy people paying for my hobbies. I mean, how cool.
So I don't work
He doesn't
at all.
work. People pay for my hobbies over there.
And as I said, so right now, as part of my job, I have to run marathons. That's a tough job, of course. I have to go to all the international conferences and events. I go to TED every year, of course. So that's, people pay for my hobbies, so it's fun.
Fantastic. Finally, a word to the entrepreneurs out over here.
So as I said, right, I think the most important asset we have is not money or company or social network or anything. It's our own health. And I think that's really what we all need to take in control first, and everything else is secondary. And I think this is what a lot of us think, ek baar main paise kama lu, baad mein we will sort all this, and there are doctors who will, there's diabetes, there is whatever. So we all think that we will get, everything else will get fixed, but that's not the case. This has got commercialized. Companies are waiting for you to get sick. It is their business model. Like how she was saying, people are waiting to die. There are doctors saying कि अभी इसको heart कब मैं stent लगाऊंगा, या when will I make this guy do this liver transplant or whatever else. So that is the scenario, and you have to take this in your own hand. You cannot rely on anybody. And today, thanks to technology, thanks to so many resources available out there, you can do that. So I think it's about time that we go out and be control of our own life.
So are you an early riser?
Yeah, of course. I go to run every morning at 6.
One more early riser. Yeah. Sandeep is laughing because we had our earlier guest and he said that 4:15 he gets up in the morning. So I said, sometimes I go to sleep at 3:15. So his waking and my thing is over there. So I'm trying to set it right over there. So hopefully, and you have to mind out for Sandeep's comics over there. He's going to definitely write something on that over there. Vishal, it's been fun having you here.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Sam.
I hope you enjoyed.
Yep.
And
I have a challenge for Sam. It's not the ice bucket challenge. The challenge is we are going to have him at 6 in the morning at Marine Drive, at least run 2 kilometers with us.
Run.
Okay, walk and jog. Because my point is, I was telling him that, you need to become, instead of having wine parties and late nights, you should change this with a run in the morning and then healthy breakfast at one of these places. And that's the way to promote this to this entire group.
Absolutely. So
Are you accepting the challenge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Thanks a lot.
So that's for you.
This time I also have something for you first.
So first, let me take
That's
that.
your own GOQii. You'll have somebody monitoring you, remember that.
Okay. And that's for you.
And don't give it to somebody else or your son to...
They've been after me, but I said, no, you're not going to get it.